Primarily, my brand is designed to make people feel better about themselves, men at least. I'm trying to validate men's feelings, saying that, yeah, you're a man and you're supposed to feel a certain way and you're allowed to get angry and know it's not toxic and you have ambition. And yes, it's going to be difficult, but you can achieve it and you want to get these things done. And if you listen to me and you listen to the things I say, you see a tangible, real benefit in your everyday life all around you. I mean, when people come up to me on the street, they don't say, wow, you're so funny. They come up to me and they say, you changed my life. We had this huge amount of potential energy on the oppressed spirit of the entire masculine population around the earth. And then I stood up and said it and everyone was like, that's how I feel. I didn't know I was allowed to say that. You know, I'd like to believe I helped a lot of people. And I was just really saying things that we all already knew to be true. Saying water is wet benefited me and it benefited the world. So I kept doing it. And it got me in a lot of trouble in the end because it turns out saying water is wet teaches men to stand up for themselves. The last thing they want is men to stop being afraid of them. Most men in the world today are still afraid of it. For some reason, most men in the world are still afraid of the system. They're still afraid of being ostracized. They're still afraid of losing their job. There's a bunch of men going to work tomorrow morning and they're scared that the HR department is going to call them in if they make a joke that is risky. That's their life. And they do that job and they go home to their sexless marriage and they have their kids who ignore them. And they sit there in quiet desperation, considering killing themselves, but they may as well pay off the mortgage first. And that's their life. I absolutely know that's true because I actually learned everything I know about sexual dynamics and how desperate the life of men is from my webcam company, which I don't talk about that often. And I saw men sit on the internet with every spare second and every spare dollar they had just to have a girl get about them. And they weren't unsuccessful men because it's expensive. They're successful men with wives and just sitting there talking to some girl on the other side of the world all day. It's sad. Like, why are these dudes so depressed? They're successful. He's a pilot. Why does his life suck so bad? And then my cam girl is telling me how his life sucks so bad and that he gave her all his money. I'm like, what the? And it's worse now because this was all way before OnlyFans. The kind of sums I was making was nothing compared to the sums that are being sent on OnlyFans. This is just a complete implosion of the things that made society function, primarily men and women being in love with each other and a value exchange. He protects and provides. I serve him and give him children. Like now that girls just want money for no reason, or they're getting money for no reason. OnlyFans is all just being sent to them and they're taking pictures of and you know what? The girls who do OnlyFans and make $100 million in a year and all this stupid. Well, that makes sense. I mean, if you're going to take pictures of your tits and get 50M, cool. But there's a whole bunch of girls, 99.9% of girls on OnlyFans are taking pictures of their pussy for fucking pennies. Yeah. It's just embarrassing and gay. The world is so toast. And then why do they do it? Well, they do it because they're doing it until they find a man who will pay their bills, I guess. Women have always used sex to their advantage. And in the world where they only care about money and not children, what are they going to use it for? They're all just some form of either digital hooker or sugar baby or full-time professional girlfriend from dude to dude to dude to dude. Is that really any different than a hooker? You're getting with men to pay all your bills and buy you handbags, and the second you break up with a guy, you find another guy with money to continue to fund your lifestyle. That's just having one customer at a time. The world's so completely in toast. It's crazy.
Do you think men and women can be friends?
No. I don't think men and women can be friends because if you're a man with any kind of testosterone level, I don't understand why you'd want to even be friends with them. Your friends are supposed to have utility. Like my friends are useful. And my women who I'm with romantically are useful. They can do things with me or for me. But what utility is a female friend? She's not going to protect me on the street if we're walking down the street. She has no business ideas. She's going to expect me to pay for it. If something happens, I have to protect her. Well, I can give advice. Any dude taking advice from a fucking chick who he ain't even banging needs to himself. Get it over with. So there's no advice. They have no utility. They have nothing to give you. So why would you be friends with a woman when you're giving it all and receiving nothing back? There has to be a value exchange. So I don't see why men and women should be friends. Women are getting attention and validation from this man who they clearly know wants to be more than friends. The whole thing's ridiculous. And women who say, oh, he's just my friend, he doesn't like me, they know what they're doing. Look, women need constant and endless validation. We all need constant and endless validation, but men seek validation because of our competence or our capability, our power, whether physical, financial, whatever. We want validation too, but women only want validation for others. That's what they want. I mean, that's the basic exchange, right? Men give attention to get sex, and women give sex to get attention. I'm going to give this man sex so that he's interested in me. And we used to give her attention so we can get the sex. That's how it worked. Yeah. But now women can get attention without getting the sex via social media and these other things. And that's why their egos are through the roof. I've seen these average ass mid talk about what they deserve in a man, and I am flabbergasted. And the funny thing is, they never get it. The girls who sit on these podcasts and they're like, I'm a 9, she's a 6. I want a man who makes $1 million a year, and he better be nice to me. And then she leaves the podcast and goes to some broke dude who gives her half a bag of weed and are all over the place. I mean, these girls are retards. If they said this shit on the podcast and at least tried to adhere to it, I'd actually respect them more. These girls, they have these unrealistic expectations, and then they just go and completely break it. But the fact they even have the gall to say these things publicly is truly remarkable to me. But that's just because of the amount of attention and validation they're constantly getting online. Plus, the algorithm is psyoping them into believing that that's the right thing to say. Women always adhere to the group consensus. Plus, they see some other who's a 6 getting a whole bunch of roses in Dubai from some fat old dude. Yeah. And all this psyop is just constantly in their ear. And the man they would have married only a generation ago, who works in the factory down the road, doesn't stand a chance with them. Instead, she's sitting there trying to get a billionaire. And if she can't get a billionaire to be excited, then she goes, well, I can't find a man with money to excite me. The next exciting thing is danger. Let me just go over to Compton and bend over for Tyrone and get pounded by him. At least this is exciting. I need dopamine. I'm addicted to TikTok. It's a mess, bro. It's like the whole world's over. All the traditional social contract of woman meets dude and they live in a small town and they have a nice little family and buy a nice little house is completely gone. I think being 20 now would suck full stop. I remember being 20 and the girls who were 20, I could actually bang. Like now, how the f*** are you going to do that? 20 and 21-year-olds are in Dubai on boats. They're in my penthouse, bro. I'm like, how old are you? 22. I'm like, you're 22? Where are you from? Lithuania. I'm like, when did you fly to Dubai? You're from Lithuania. You're 22. When did your parents let you go? I'm 22. What do you mean, parents? I'm like, parents? What do you mean? What do I mean? You're a kid. What the f*** you doing here? I'm like, the 22-year-old Lithuanian making $200 a month. What hope does he have? It's so cooked. Everything is so now globalized, especially the dating market. And these women are just, there's like 4 cities, LA, Miami, Dubai. There's like all the world's pussy. And they're all there just like, give me money, give me money, give me money. I don't know how anything functions anymore. I don't know how it's all going to end up, but it's certainly being pushed and perpetrated by the Matrix because it results in less and less kids. Let's not forget that the whole contract of man, woman, marriage, stick together, have children was in the 1950s and 1960s heavily accepted across the West. And even men couldn't step out of their marriage without being ostracized. But then women said, I don't want to listen to no man. I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to have kids. I want to make my own choices. So we said, okay, you can make your own choices. Then they all chose the same guy, me. Like I'm on the internet on your podcast telling them what I'm going to do. I'm going to have kids with every single that I want to have kids. You think it's going to stop me? If you're at a certain status, you can do anything. People often say, you can't cheat on a girl, she'll leave. That's a lie. You can cheat as much as you want, just don't go broke. If you go broke, she'll leave. If you're rich, she ain't going nowhere. Because then she has to find another man with the same kind of or more money than you. And at a certain status, they just like, oh, f*** it. Who am I going to even replace this guy with? But please don't do it again. Like, fine, I will not have any more kids.
Half of the people on this planet, 50% of all people alive are females. So that woman you think is so special, that one you really want, she's so special, she ain't special, bro. Get that shit out your head straight away. She takes a shit in the morning like everyone else. So don't be trying too hard. I've never struggled with females because I never focused on the females. These other game books and all these idiots. This is the woman, get the woman, get the woman. Forget the bitch. Forget all the chicks. Worry about yourself. Get yourself straight. And when your own shit's straight, females are an added bonus. It's much easier to focus on yourself and get yourself high level and then start getting females than it is to forget about yourself. Spend all your time running around the mall, doing 1,000 approaches, trying to pick up a real slut who will bang anyone. If you go up to 1,000 girls, you get 5 phone numbers and one might f you. Yeah, I'm sure that's absolutely true. But so you're going to spend your life, instead of becoming rich, instead of becoming strong, instead of becoming smart, you're just going to fucking run around a mall approaching girls, day game. I focused on myself. And that's how I've managed to attain the highest quality females. Don't be so desperate for a girl you just lose all your honor and self-respect. Because then you're never going to get her. Ever.
I think that women are a mirror and that they can teach you things about yourself based on how you act towards them. Women are a fantastic mirror in all ways. They're a fantastic mirror in the positive and the negative. If you want to know how the world views you, or you want to find out the image you give across to planet, if you want to see how you're really perceived, just go talk to girls. You know, the difference between sexual harassment and a wife is simply the vibe and image you give off. You can say the same things. It's not even the words. The fat guy says it, and then the good looking guy says it, and there's a completely different reaction. So women are a fantastic mirror. If you really think you're the man, then go talk to a beautiful woman. Let's see how she talks to you. I think a lot of people don't pay attention to those lessons, though. Like if a woman leaves you, you need to work out why, and you need to be a man about it and blame yourself. And you need to change that thing so that you can be less leavable in future. You need to adjust so that you retain and remain as capable as possible. It's just feedback from a woman. If a woman leaves you and you start crying your eyes out, she left me. Why? She's a cheater and she some other guy. Wah, wah, wah. I'm gonna say, okay, but why? Because you can't control her, but you can control you. So if you blame yourself for it, you can try and prevent it happening again in future. So I think that women are a fantastic teacher for a man, yes, but I think it's mainly just feedback based on how you act. Like I say all these things and I'm being funny, but I completely understand that women wouldn't be putting up with me unless I also provided them a fantastic life. But everything in the world is a value exchange. To sit and say those girls are just gold diggers is also disingenuous. It's not true. It's a value exchange. A girl sits there and goes, okay, this is annoying and bad, but this is good. If you can add enough good to the pile, then you get away with more bad. This is how it works with everything. And also the other thing that's really interesting, I think that people don't understand with women is that very much like business, time is money. If you're broke, you have to be at home with your chick all day, every day. But if you have money, you can say, I'm busy, I'm working. Your rent's paid, stay in. Okay, I'll stay in. Text me. But like the dating market that we're currently living in, even though women constantly complain about it, women built it. Women decided they wanted to make their own choices and women chose polygamy. You know, here in the West, we all say that people who have more than one wife are crazy. The Arab world, that makes no sense. Polygamy makes far more sense than what we have now. The world would be a better place if I want 4 girlfriends, I had to marry them all and I had to take care of them all. And they knew they were sharing. Because in the West, we have 4 women sharing one man, pretending they're not sharing him, while all knowing he's secretly cheating and he has no obligation to take care of any of them. So how is that better? At least in the Arab world, okay, there's honesty and there's an obligation from the man's side. Here in the West, you have an obligation to a chick if you want to keep her in a relationship because they all want money. Well, you can f girls for free all day. Next. It's cheaper to f new ones than it is to keep one. The Western world is so on its head, it's so toasted because this endless bullshit monogamy trap that women are constantly trying to force men into. So you're going to get with a man, he's going to cheat, you're going to break up with him, get with another man, he's going to cheat, you're going to break up with him. And with 10 dicks in, now you're a whore. Whether you want to be or not, your heart's gone because you fell in love too many times, and you got heartbroken too many times. So you become cold inside. And that's actually why a lot of these Western girls end up the way they are, because they're chasing something completely unrealistic. You need to watch Chimp Empires. Epic. It's about like gorillas. So they have 10 male gorillas and 10 female gorillas, and they're living together. It's like a pride of gorillas. It's not 10 pairs of couples. It's not 10 male gorillas, 10 female gorillas, 10 happy couples. No, it's one male gorilla with all 10 and 9 gorillas with no hose. And all these little beta males are standing there looking at him, and he's like, do something. Do something. What are you going to do? And they're all scared of him because he runs the pride. This is humans, by the way. Well, it's the power. And money is a form of power. If you have money, you can compensate for not having physicality. But if you have a little bit of money, a little bit of physicality, a little bit of social status, they can all add up to tons of power, right? It's all different levels. And then the alpha male gorilla eventually grows old, and he keeps fighting and trying to like beat everyone up. But eventually he grows old and he can't anymore. And then all his is leaving. And he sits there with no hose. The gorilla sits there with no hose. But he had his time in his prime. He run it. So this is what I'm saying to the guys at home. If it's your prime right now, don't be letting some woman psyop you. You'll be old one day. No, you got to run it now. So he runs it the best he can. He gets old. He loses his hose. And then he walks off into the forest to die by himself. It is what it is. And I like to remind all the girls that it's feminism that built this world. If you women are going to sit on the internet and say that broke men don't deserve women, then what you're really saying is that rich men deserve all. If you're saying a broke man can't get pussy, you're saying a rich man can get all the pussy he wants.
All you need is money. You and your wife would get along if you made more money. You and your wife would if you made more money. You'd have other women who want to you if you made more money. It's amazing how
A few numbers on a screen can change your entire personality, your entire perception of the world. If only you had some money, your entire human experience would be different. You wouldn't be depressed, you know? You wouldn't feel insecure. You wouldn't feel like you're wasting your life. You'd wake up excited. You wouldn't feel in a rush all the time. You wouldn't be panicking. You wouldn't be sad or anxious. You wouldn't be doing things you don't want to do. You don't want to be in Cincinnati and you don't want to be in the commute. How much of your life are you spending doing things you don't want to do?